I'm sure we all heard by now that Best Buy is going to stop selling physical media at their stores starting next year. And this was kind of coming around yesterday, but it was finally confirmed today by a Best Buy spokesperson. I got this article from Variety talking about it, and if you scroll down, you can see one, or at least an excerpt from the statement that was given to Variety. To state the obvious, the way we watch movies and TV shows is much different today than it was decades ago. And yeah, I understand it, I get it, but I personally don't like it. And it does talk about in this article how Netflix kind of changed the game when it came to people watching movies. And that's ultimately what they're getting at, is just from the simple fact that people don't buy physical media anymore. It talks about it right here. Amid the ascent of streaming videos, sales of DVDs and Blu-ray discs have been shrinking for years. U.S. physical media revenue in the first half of 2023 dropped 28% to $754 million, compared with $1.5 billion in the year earlier period, according to the data from trade associations DEG, the Digital Entertainment Group. Ingram Entertainment, a leading DVD distributor, recently announced that it would wind down operations after more than 35 years in business. The company said it will continue to provide catalog products to customers into the fourth quarter of 2023. Meanwhile, Walmart has been in talks with DVD distributor Studio Distributor Service, a joint venture of Universal Pictures and Warner Brothers, to assume management of portions of its physical media operations, Media Play News reported this summer. And that is because Walmart is still going to sell physical media. It talks about right here, Walmart, Amazon, and Target are they going to be the top retailers of physical media now that Best Buy is shuttering that wing of their business. And me personally, I don't like this, even though I don't buy a ton of my physical media from Best Buy. I tend to get it from secondhand places and used stores, just for the simple fact, it is generally cheaper, but you're also going to get more of a interesting variety. You're going to find more obscure things that a big retailer don't tend to carry. But still, the reason I can actually buy that is because people still buy physical media, and when they're done with it, they'll sell it to those secondhand places. So when you're closing down a big retailer like this, it's obviously going to have some cascading effect on that. But I understand why they're making these decisions. Like I said, I just personally don't like it, just for the simple fact that I don't think streaming is necessarily the same thing as owning the physical copy of it. First and foremost, the streaming service is not quite what it used to be. Even then, like, they used to have it where you just pay a little bit. I think Netflix, it was like $7 when I first started streaming, and I can't remember exactly, it was years ago, but it was like, yeah, you pay $7 a month and you can get access to all these TV shows and movies, and it's great, no ads or anything. But now they're changing that with ad supported tiers, because there's so many different streaming services now that they can't sustain themselves on their own. So they're trying to push people towards the ad supported versions, because that's the only way they can actually make money to sustain themselves. And in a way, it kind of revert, because already it felt like when you're scrolling through like Netflix to try to find something to watch, it felt a lot like back in the day flipping through the channels to try to find something to watch. And now that's even more like the cable model when you add the fact that there's going to be ads on it now. So yeah, it's even more like watching a cable show or something like that. And if you want to have access to all the different streaming services, you're paying as much as a cable package. So it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's ruining the experience, because there is still the convenience factor of it. But at the same time, I don't like it as much as, like, it's not the same experience as actually putting something into the Blu-ray player to watch it. And then there's the added effect of like not being able to physically own the copy, because when you don't own the copy, when you're essentially just licensing it from these various platforms, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can go on there and watch it anytime you want, is assuming you have an internet connection. And that's another benefit of physical media, is you can watch something even if you don't have internet. But that's kind of beside the point at this stage right now. Most people have access to internet, so it's not a huge issue. But I don't like the fact that when they have something on an environment like this where you don't have the actual access to the files of it, or the copy of it, then they can do things like what we've seen with other movies and TV shows, where there's made like a bunch of changes to censor and tweak things, or even just removing episodes of shows just completely outright. I was looking at this article earlier from MovieWeb. It was talking about this, and some of the more egregious things, like scrolling down to, where is it here? Yeah, the number one it has on here is, I was showing my wife It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia fairly recently because she's never watched it before. And I noticed, like, wait a minute, I'm like, it feels like they cut out some episodes here. And I look it up and it's like, yeah, sure enough, they removed some episodes because it was deemed offensive now, which is ridiculous. Because, I mean, if you actually watch this show, you understand the jokes that they were going for with this. But at the same time, it's like, I don't like I mean, if I owned the physical DVDs of this, then I wouldn't have had to worry about it. But fortunately, I actually do have, I didn't have the physical DVDs. I had digital files of it on my computer, so I was able to pull that up. So it's next best thing to owning physical copies, because I can always burn that onto discs right now. But I mean, there's that though. I mean, you don't know when you're purchasing it online if you can actually get the version, if the version of it that you purchase is going to be the version that stays on there, because they could always do some edits to the movies. They can always remove episodes or do something else with it. And if you're okay with that, then that's fine. But I mean, I'd personally like it, like a movie comes out, I'd like to be able to buy the version of the movie. And if they have some tweaks to it and be like, okay, we're putting out a different version of this movie, great. I can see if I want to have that version as well. I mean, I've owned several versions of the Lord of the Rings movies, because it's like, I buy the theatrical version, and when the special editions came out, I bought those as well. Because it's like, okay, I see what they're offering and I want to have that too, so I'll get that as well. But you don't really have that option when you're just buying stuff online. And like I said, I mean, to me, this has always been about choice. Right now, when you have physical media, there's a choice. You can buy it online, you can just stream it, or you can buy the physical copy. And right now, by taking away this choice, I mean, it is very limiting and kind of disheartening to know that this is honestly where a lot of the retailers are probably going to go. I mean, even though other places like Amazon's going to sell it, Walmart's still going to sell it, Target, those are still a few big retailers. I mean, and there's only a few distributors who actually produce these things. So I can see in the future, maybe 10, 20 years, I mean, it won't be a thing. Like an actual DVD or Blu-ray is going to be almost like a relic at that point, kind of like how we regard VHS tapes now. And I actually still have some VHS tapes right now too, because I just don't like getting rid of things like that. In fact, I remember the first DVD I ever bought. It was Reign of Fire. Bought that when that movie came out, like 2000, 2001 or something like that. You know, Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, the one with the dragons. But yeah, I still have that on my shelf right now because I don't like getting rid of stuff, and that's still an enjoyable movie. And it's kind of special because it was the first one I ever bought as a kid. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. I mean, do you still prefer physical media, or do you just not care and you're all about streaming? And also, what was the first movie that you ever bought, or first DVD or Blu-ray that you ever bought? Comment below and let me know. And if you like this video, make sure you click that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.